Welcome back to art class. Today we are going to get started on our clay project. There will be several things at your desk, some of which we already have experience working with, especially our clay tool. So you're going to be getting a flat piece of clay called a slab, and we want to make sure it is very rectangular before we get started. It is the base of our clay project today. So you will need to trim it off and make it as rectangular as possible. Next, you're going to use some of your spare clay. This could be from the extra clay you get from squaring off your piece. This could be from extra clay you have at your desk. So I'm trying to make a seascape scene. So you're going to think about or look at some of the examples up on the screen and see what kind of seascape you're interested in making, or maybe you have one in mind already. I'm trying to add the clay to my slab to make it look like the water is washing up on the shore. So I'm using my fingers, some of the clay tools to give it the texture that you might see on the waves. The next thing, I'm just adding more detail. So think about things you want to add in your seascape scene. I'm creating a little sailboat in mine. I'm also using some of those techniques we learned about last week. Making coils, making slabs. Most everything that we do with clay you can make just by using those two techniques. Rolling it out into miniature coils or rolling it out into flat pieces like slabs. I made my sailboat mainly using coils and slabs. Next, I'm making a little sea turtle. I made 2 coils and then a shorter one for the head. And next, I'm going to make a palm tree with a coil, and then I am rolling the clay into a ball, flattening it out into a slab, and then I'm going to use my clay cutting tools to make leaves for my palm trees. And don't forget about texture. Texture is how something looks like it feels or how something might feel. So I'm actually creating cuts into the palm trees to give it that palm tree look. So texture is your friend. You want to use the tools that you have at your desk to create a variety of different textures that's going to make your seascape scene look more realistic. Also, some things like your clay may want to stick to your clay mat. So I'm using that green knife to scrape it off so I can reapply it back onto my clay. Anything that is not stuck to your clay will eventually roll off or it could break. So you do want to use a little bit of water. That's what I am doing. Sometimes I am dipping my fingers into the water and pressing it onto the clay just to make sure it is stuck so that it does not fall off. At the very end, when you pick your clay up off of the clay mat, you will want to smooth out the edges, and anything that is showing cracks or wrinkles in the clay, you will want to smooth that out as well. That will become sharp after the first firing, because when I put it in the kiln and I fire it, the clay is no longer clay anymore, but has turned to stone. So you want to make sure everything is smoothed out at the very end when you turn it into meat. So when you're completely done, you're going to gently pick it up off your clay mat. Use your finger, dip it into the water, and smooth out any of the edges that could be rough, and then any of the cracks and crevices. And then you're going to carefully take it over to me. I will be standing in a section of the room. I will write your name on the back of your pieces, and I will check and make sure everything is stuck on there. If certain things are falling off, I will probably tell you to take them back to your desk and rework on them. Once you're completely done, you can go to the rinse station, rinse your hands, and then clean up your area.